This is a special presentation from UFC Fight Pass. Step into our world at UFCFightPass.com.
Well, it's officially in the books. UFC 315 is done in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Hey, everybody, it's Extra Rounds here from UFC Fight Pass. We are brought to you by our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC, and we're here to talk about everything that transpired. Our main event, it went down like this. I got to press the wrong button, of course. I got to press that button. Championship was on the line in the main event. Belal Muhammad defending his title against Jack Della Maddalena, and it is and new. Here to break things down, still the champion of Extra Rounds. It is that man, Ray Longo. Ray, how are you?
Ooh, very good, TJ. Let's chop it up, buddy.
Yes, let's do that. If people don't know, it is and new as Jack Della Maddalena defeats Belal Muhammad. It goes his way over the course of 5 rounds. It was a curious bit of strategy. I don't want to be too hard on the now former champion in Belal Muhammad, but he came out very loose, right? The walk, he was owning the spotlight like you'd like to see a champion do. And then when he got in the octagon, I feel like he wasn't too far off from the Belal Muhammad style that we're used to, but he wasn't flowing. And when he started to flow in the 4th round, JDM was putting it on him and then started to hurt him bad. And that was the moment I think that Belal was going to be able to try to turn the tide in his table or in his favor. But unfortunately, you know, he got hurt. He got cut. The damage was put on him. And we got a new champ that lives in Australia.
Yeah, no, good observation with the being loose coming out. I noticed there was almost like a modified McGregor walk, and he was skipping a little bit. And I was like, this is, I don't know what this means, but it's definitely a little different. I don't know which way. Is he that loose? He's going to have a great performance, or is he, I don't know. I don't know what I was looking at there, but the game plan, I would love to know what it was. I don't know if he was out to prove a point that he could stand with this guy, but he should have been. I think if he was aggressive from the beginning, he's still the champion.
I believe it was after the 2nd round, you could hear him tell his corner that he was just slippery. He was just real slippery. He wasn't able to really control him and hold on to him. There were times where Belal was able to get Jack up against the fence, but they would kind of reverse sides, and then ultimately Della would get back to space. And, you know, Belal had a hard time when Della was getting his strikes off. I will say damage is a very interesting thing to score fights on because a lot of it is subjective. A lot of it has to do with what you can see. You can't argue with blood. You can't argue with cuts. I think you can argue with puffiness a little bit, but when you end the fight with the mess of a face that Belal Muhammad did, knowing that damage is weighed so much more now in the criteria, you can't be confident that you did enough. I mean, he was wearing the crimson mask.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. No, I think just optically, TJ, there was one guy looked like he was, head movement, he's rolling punches. The other guy, no head movement, stiff as a board. Yeah, he probably hits hard. Everybody's athletic and strong at this level of the game. But if you're looking, there's a huge disparity in geez, I can't even speak.
It's late for you, Ray. It's fine.
Yeah. But there is this was a huge difference in just technique. And I'll tell you, and it was only, and I think the fact that Jack was looking for the takedown all the time, he never really unloaded. He was hitting at like 50% to keep him at range. He was touching him and moving. And then there's a couple of times where you see he sat down on his punches where he did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if he would have, if they would have made a gentleman's agreement, we're just going to stand in the middle of the ring and fight, you would have saw it would have been a completely different fight.
Yeah.
I think he would have knocked him out, but he was always respectful of the takedown right up until the last bell. And he should have been.
You hit on something that is good, I think, when it comes to strikers versus grapplers, and that's sitting down on your punches. When you know that it's an MMA fight, like that's why strikers in MMA that are not naturally first disciplined world-class strikers can hang with world-class strikers at times because it's the threat of the takedown. You might not even go for it. But
100%. And you could see he was like touching him. He wasn't throwing. When he sat down and hit him with like a 2 body shots and then over the top, that's what you need to get a guy out. The other thing was just to let him know that, I'm holding the range. He's showing him the uppercut. He's showing him the knee. Is that what caused the hesitation in Bilal? I don't know. I almost feel like something else was up in this fight. I don't know. I don't know.
It might have just been the pressure and the heat of the bright lights. I mean, you got to think, Bilal Muhammad has been in this title picture for so long now, despite not being the champion, but being that #1 contender and then not getting the fight, and then, Colby jumping the line. And for whatever reason, Bilal just doesn't resonate with fans the way that he wanted to. Maybe he thought this was his moment to get over with the fans. Now, I don't think he's going to be a fan favorite immediately. I don't think that, his fight kit is going to be out of stock at the UFC store.
Right.
But I will say, out of anything, you can't question Bilal Muhammad's heart. You can't question his desire. The guy went out there, gave it all.
1,000,000%, DJ. 1,000,000%. I got a new level of respect for him. Definitely a tough son of a bitch, you know what I mean? And crazy. But that just didn't look like a Bilal Muhammad fight right from the get-go. That's where I'm confused.
Yeah.
Like there was whether it would have worked or not, there was another path to victory that he should have been trying right from the beginning. Then you're down to, listen, I thought it was 49-46. I don't know what 2 rounds I thought he won the 4th round.
Yeah.
But I don't know what other round you could have given him. And, right?
I'm with you. I'd like to put it out to the people that are watching this right now. We do have a phone number. You can call us. You can talk to us. I'll put you on the air. Or you can send us a text. 917 UFC Talk is the number. It's 917-832-8255. Scorecards were all over the place, though, tonight, Ray. We had dissenting 30-27s on the prelims. It was crazy. I was looking online and felt like there was a very good mixture of people that thought Valentina should have won. And then I looked at the media scores. I don't want to jump around too much and get away from the main event, but Valentina and Manon Fiorot, they had crazy scorecards when you look at the media scorecards. 18 media scores were turned in, Ray. Can you guess how many of the media scores sided with the still champion Valentina Shevchenko out of 18?
I would hope 17.
16 went that way.
Right.
I was looking at a couple MMA websites that have 3 judges. Sherdog scored it 2-1 for Fiorot. I thought it was a pretty handed decision for Valentina, but I thought the right scorecard was probably 48-47. 2 of those media scores, or 3 rather, were 49-46 for Valentina. Is that how you scored it? How did you score the co-main?
That one I didn't. That one I thought Valentina won the fight. I don't know. That one I wasn't as like in tune with as the last fight, but she definitely won the fight for sure. I mean, even I would have probably scored that. Yeah, I go 48-47, but I don't like again. Did that girl dominate 2 rounds of that fight?
And that's the thing too. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm going 49-46. Yeah. I don't know.
But that's
I never thought she was falling behind in the. Yeah.
We got a little bit of a delay here. We're battling through it, right? But that's a problem with the 10-point must scoring system. Not every 10-9 is created equal. You can have a dominant 10-9, or you can have a squeaker of a round where you get a 10-9, but it all accounts for the same score. Let's get back to Bilal Muhammad real quick here, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What's next for Bilal? Because this was not the performance he wanted. It took him forever to get there. He comes out tonight. I don't know if he was flat. I don't know if he had a point to prove, and he should have gone right on the fork instead of the left when the path to victory he thought was going to get him there. It just didn't work. Is he broken from this, Ray? Do you feel like he's got to get the building blocks? Because we've talked a lot about champions getting the belt and then losing it. He hardly had it in a lot of ways. His desire, I don't think, is going to go down. But do you feel that he's been exposed in any way?
No, no, but here's a couple. I don't think he'll break, but the UFC will 1,000,000% break him. They didn't want him to be the champion. He's never getting another shot. The guy's 36. I didn't think he was that old.
Yeah.
I mean, what future does he have? By the time by the time they give him a shot, he'll be 40. They just don't want him as champion. That's my opinion. Look, Aldo lost the title. About a month ago, I go, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "I think they retired me without telling me." I mean, like, you don't even hear that guy's name, and he's 2-0 at 145.
Right.
They just don't. They do what they want to do, man. And if you're not on their list of who they want to promote, you're in trouble. Like, where does Bilal go? Yeah, he's going to beat a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Is he getting another title shot? I highly doubt it.
I mean, Bilal, too, whether or not he would have won, I feel like he's always going to be a guy that is in that top 5 discussion. And I don't want to say that he's relegated to gatekeeper status, but if you can beat Bilal Muhammad, you probably belong right there. He could have another 7 fights, though, Ray, being that gatekeeper to a title eliminator.
Yes. Yeah, but look, how about this? How about this scenario? Islam goes up and he beats Jack Bauer. He beats JDM.
Yeah.
Then what does Bilal do?
I mean, that's almost worse for him. That's almost worse for him. He has an opportunity to potentially get a fight with JDM in the future if he just steamrolls everybody.
Now you got another problem.
Yeah.
100%. Now you got that problem.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And you know what the UFC will do? They'll offer it to him because that's what they like to do. You want the title shot? You win this fight, you get the title shot.
You're not wrong, Ray, but let me ask you this. Like, do you think it's a personal issue or do you think it's giving fans who are the payers the fights that they want the most?
That's a tricky question.
It's very tough. It's very tough. And
the way you phrased it. No,
you can plead the fifth, Ray, but like I do think that
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not pleading the fifth. No, they're giving the fans what they want. That they are.
Mm-hmm.
But they're making it personal. but they are giving the fans. No, you couched that nicely. So yeah, but I do think. Look, it's I take it back. It's not personal. It is a business. We got to go back to that.
Right.
And they think he's not good for business.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue when.
I don't know if that's true though.
But
I don't know if that's true.
Bilal was not a guy as champion that people rallied around and loved to watch fight because they wanted to see him lose. They just talked about him negatively. They liked to gang up on him. Anytime he would do a press conference, he would sort of cringe when they would open up the mic to the fans because they would make jokes. I have one here on the text line. Brandon from Wichita, Kansas writes in, how appropriate that Bilal's nickname is Remember the Name. In 2 weeks, no one will remember him or care. That's the fan base. That's the fan base. You know what I mean? I mean, they buy their tickets, they buy the pay-per-view, they can say what they want, but like Bilal Muhammad's a nice guy. And he deserved to become champion.
No, he's a nice guy.
You know, I like Bilal.
He's a nice guy. He 100% earned it. Listen, he had to walk through hoops to get there. But look, on that same note, I mean, Steve Lee, he's the manager of the gym. You know, he had just had a baby boy a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not even kidding. He said he puts on a Bilal fight, and the kid falls asleep within like 40, 50 seconds.
How dare you?
He uses that. No, I'm not joking. You think I'm joking?
How old's the kid?
Come on,
How
DJ.
old's the kid, Ray? Come on.
This is too.
Come on now.
He's a couple of weeks old.
Just put on extra rounds and just hearing your sleepy voice, that kid will fall asleep in 2 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you, that's the problem. This is what happens when you get me at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I know.
It's so horrible.
I know. It is extra rounds here from UFC Fight Pass. If you're not a member, sign up right now. It is still technically Saturday here on the West Coast of the United States. We got a deal going on until Sunday. I don't know what time Sunday, but if you sign up, you save 35% off the annual price, which equates to like $35. So go do that. But all right, let's talk about Valentina Shevchenko in our co-main event. This is the first time in pretty much 3 years that Valentina went into a fight that wasn't against Alexa Grasso. They had that year layoff between their second and third meetings. I thought Valentina did enough to win the fight. I lost Ray Longo, so you're going to have to see 2 of me. I have to go like this. Let's try to avoid doing that moving forward. We're making adjustments on the fly, and that's how champions get things done in combat sports. Not so much in broadcasting, but you're back.
Okay.
Was the feeling that maybe Valentina didn't do enough in this fight by some that scored it against her? Maybe Valentina being held up to the comparison of her, current self to prime Valentina Shevchenko? Because if that's the case, she's older, she's longer in the tooth. She doesn't want to hear about, how old she is and have it be an excuse for not performing. She's still the champion, but I do feel every time she competes, if she's not vintage bullet Shevchenko, people are going to say her better days are behind her, and it's just a matter of time. Like I was actually shocked, Ray, that she was the underdog coming into this fight.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I thought she would have definitely been the favorite. Look, it wasn't an exciting fight. It
Right.
was a very. She fought in spurts, and not a lot of spurts, but she would. I don't know. There was a. I think at the end of the day, the other girl will grow from that fight, obviously more than Valentina, because she's probably in the twilight. She's still good though. She's still very good, but I thought there was a lot of waiting. I liked it better when she started moving around, and I think she just should have went after
Yeah.
Thoreau a little bit better. I thought she just, I thought she could have been a little more aggressive, but for whatever reason, she didn't. But I think that was the fight. I think that's why some people maybe saw it the other way, because the other girl was kind of going forward. Shevchenko was flat-footed and just waiting, but she did pick off. She did knock it down with that right hook, more of an off-balance thing, but she did what she had to do to win the fight. I don't think anything more.
Yeah, Ray, I think that what we saw in the co-main event was a high-level, high-stakes mixed martial arts fight, and when you have those fights, sometimes you got to win in not the most exciting way.
Yeah.
And
I'll go with that. I agree with that. It was definitely a technical battle. It was a chess game for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It definitely was. On another note, the girl that, just not to segue out of here, but the girl that really looked good was Silva. Who fought,
Alexa Grasso.
That girl's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That girl should get the next title shot. Her movement, her kicks, her countering, I don't know. She looks like she's going to be a major problem.
Yeah, she's 6-0 now in the UFC. She did everything right. Grasso was game. Grasso was trying to come forward.
Yeah.
I did a marathon yesterday on the Fight Pass YouTube, and we were just playing some of the fights that featured stars from 315 before they got to the UFC, and I showed a fight against Mizuki, someone that you're very familiar with. Alexa Grasso fought her when she was 21.
That was a great fight.
It was 10 years ago, Ray.
Yeah.
It was a decade ago. It's hard for me to realize that the 21-year-old that Alexa Grasso was then is now the 31-year-old former champion. And what I saw, don't get me wrong, she's improved, but she kind of did some things tonight in the fight that she did against Mizuki when Mizuki started to take over that fight. She will keep to her game, but she doesn't get frantic at times. Like, we talk about her Mexican-style boxing.
Right.
It is pretty. It is crisp. It is on point. But she doesn't necessarily bite down in the mouthpiece and go shot for shot and get gritty and grimy. When she did that a couple times tonight, she started to have some success, but the fight was already too far away from her.
Yeah, that was her path to victory. She had to really bum rush that girl, make it the dirtiest, ugliest fight. She let that girl control the rhythm, the distance, everything kind of. But her only the exciting parts. The fight was exciting because that other girl's pretty dynamic. But when Grasso would attack, that was what we wanted to see. Like, you have to go and go and go again. Like, you can't just go once and the person moves and then you go back to follow him again. You have to. How's that?
You got to bring the volume. She didn't turn up the volume throughout the entire fight. Had she turned up the volume, she could have pulled a Leonard Garcia and maybe stole some rounds, Ray, where you just threw more.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Looking at Silva, though, I think you said it. She's got a very bright future.
Hypnotized.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt. Yeah, that's a hard style to figure out.
Yeah, 100%. Let's go this way. I hate to not talk about Amin Zahabi here, but the narrative of this fight, I think, is all Jose Aldo. Aldo comes in, he misses weight. He was winning the fight, in my opinion. I don't know how you score this fight 29-28 for Amin Zahabi. To me, the best scorecard Zahabi could get was a 28-28 draw. I thought Aldo won the first 2 rounds. There was the groin strike. Sometimes the judges seem to forget what happens before the groin strike. Zahabi did have the better of the round in the second round after the second groin strike upon the restart, but I don't think you can forget all the things that Aldo did in the early part of that round. And credit to Zahabi. He was definitely defensive, comes back, makes his offense count. I don't want to say steals the cards, but he does get it 29-28 across the board. And then Aldo gets on the mic and basically retires and says that he kind of just gave up. He doesn't want to keep cutting weight. It was too hard. I want to be celebrating Jose Aldo. We've already done it once before when he laid down his gloves in the octagon, but I kind of felt like he did a disservice at the front of the fight for Amin missing weight, and then did him a disservice on the backside, basically going, well, yeah, like I couldn't even do what I normally do to make it to the fight right.
Yeah, that's a weird. Once you miss weight like that, there's no complaining about anything to me. You know what I mean? I think you give up your right to bitch about anything. I did have him win in the fight, 29-28. I thought that was almost easy to score.
For Zahabi?
But, I mean, no.
For Aldo or Zahabi?
No, I had it for Aldo.
Okay, got it.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah. We got a delay, Ray. It's pretty bad. It's annoying.
Aldo. No, definitely. Is it bad? Oh, I'm sorry. But
Not your fault.
Jose Aldo definitely won that fight. In the beginning of the third round, I thought he was going to end it, but man, do you have to give it up for Zahabi to have the heart to come back in the group? I mean, I don't know, man. I at the end of the fight, I was like, I would hate to see Zahabi lose because of what he accomplished in that third round, coming back from a big deficit, but he didn't win that fight.
So you call it 29-28.
And he beat a guy that didn't want to be there.
You call it 29-28 for Aldo. Were you at all tempted to think about a 10-8 in the third? Because I wasn't, simply because I don't think Aldo was hurt as much as he was just completely exhausted.
Right. No, it wasn't a 10-8 only because one reason is because the other guy got hammered at the beginning of the round. Right. He was almost out. I thought how he survived is incredible to me. So you can't call it a 10-8 round for sure, but you can call it a 10-9, I guess.
I have no idea how 3 judges scored that bout 29-28 for Amin Zahabi. And again, I feel bad for the kid because the narrative of how much heart he had on display, Ray, it's buried between 3 things that went wrong before the fight started.
Yeah, 100%. But look, I'm going to go a little bit. It's a hometown.
Yeah, but only one of those judges was from Canada.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I've been in that arena. They had to take us through the basement. They were threatening to kill Sarah.
I forgot about that. This was the same building. Yeah, Bell Center. They had to sneak you through the Rockstar tunnels so you could get out of there safely.
That's no joke, man. They had like 900 riot control police outside. It was something I'll never experience again, I don't think.
I think if Bilal Muhammad had won tonight, they would have had to sneak him out the tunnels. All right, I'm gonna.
I mean, if he would have got the decision, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I wasn't too worried about that decision going the wrong way, but after what we saw leading up to it, Ray, like I was not confident about any decision.
Yeah, that one decision they really would Kudalaba, I think. That was brutal.
Yeah, yeah.
That guy definitely won the first 2 rounds easy, I think.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I'm going to let you go to bed. Technology is not on our side. Time is not on our side. But I appreciate you being on my side, Ray Longo.
I'm always, I'm always on your side, TJ, no
I
matter
haven't
what.
I haven't talked to you in forever.
But
Yeah, this is the new
was,
skinny me.
I
What do you
feel
think?
bad about the delay.
It's okay. It's fine. What do you think about this skinny me?
I like it.
I dropped like 60
I like
pounds
it.
since I last saw you.
How many months ago when I?
Well, I
what you?
I saw you. I saw you in March.
Fight?
Yeah. I saw you in March. Since then, I've lost about 20 pounds.
Yeah, because it looked like you. Yeah, I was gonna say, it looked like your suit was falling off you that night. So
yeah, well, I just
didn't
bought
get to
that
see it,
damn
but keep
thing.
up the good work. That's huge.
Thank you. I just bought the damn thing, and it's already way too big on me.
Yeah,
so,
well, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Ray, you get out of here. I appreciate you, sir. You're the best in the business.
All right, I'll talk to
All right, see you,
later,
Ray.
TJ.
There he is, Ray Longo, hanging out with me on Extra Rounds, courtesy of UFC Fight Pass, and of course our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's take a look at our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. You know, it's always more fun to have some skin in the game. We got a new champion after our main event. Jack Della Maddalena, could have picked up some money on him. Let's take a look at the odds and how they opened up earlier this week. Bilal Muhammad was a minus 185 favorite when the line opened. And let's take a look at where it closed. He actually went up slightly as a favorite, minus 192. But if you put money down on Jack Della Maddalena, you got a nice little comeback your way at plus 160. Shevchenko, she also was an underdog, which is not all that common. The line opened at plus 114. She went up even a little bit more, plus 120 by fight close. Jose Aldo, let's actually take a look at that opening line there on Aldo, minus 185, and then it closed after he missed weight at minus 180. I'm curious for you at home right now. Should something be done about missing weight? And by that, I mean not just a fine in the purse department, but I don't want to say half points or you can't win a decision or something. Because, like, I feel like if you fail to make weight and you do so in a way that kind of games the system. Like, when was Ayman Zahabi told this was no longer going to be a bantamweight fight? How sucked out was Aldo? I think that the tough weight cut reared its head in that third round, but does he even get to a third round? Does he have as strong of a second round that he had if he was forced to continue to make weight? Does the fight not even happen? Is that what's paramount here? Do we try to just do whatever we can to get the guys in the octagon? I don't know. I think that getting the fight to happen is probably, goal number one. But how many times have we seen a guy fail to make weight? He stops his cut maybe earlier than he should, but once he knows, look, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to push myself anymore. If the fight happens, let's stop here because I'm still somewhat comfortable and can get the water back on. Something needs to be done. It worked out the right way for Ayman Zahabi, despite, I think, getting a decision he didn't deserve. But that's he kind of deserved to have something go his way because nothing else did. Nothing else did once Aldo failed to make weight. Because it was a scapegoat for Jose Aldo to be like, look, I'm not myself. This is too hard. And if you have a win over Jose Aldo, there should be nothing that spoils that win. I know he's not prime Jose Aldo. I know it's not WEC Jose Aldo. But you look at that name on your record in the Fight Finder and see the green W next to it. You earn that. You deserve it. And I think, unfortunately, it's probably pretty sweet for Ayman Zahabi, but it should have been sweeter in many ways. And I kind of feel bad for him. DraftKings Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of the UFC. You can sign up right now and get $150 in free bonus bets. Just sign up, go get some skin in the game at DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the promo code FIGHTPASS and get your $150 in free bonus bets anytime. So go do that. They're proud partners of this here show. It's called Extra Rounds. If you don't know about it, well, you're watching it now, so we've just told you. But you can also check out some other offerings that we do on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. We got a whole archive for you. I got a podcast. I do interviews. It's all available for you right now over on UFC Fight Pass. Scan that QR code right now. We got a deal going on. I don't know how late it goes into Sunday. It ends on Sunday, but it is 35% off the annual price. Get in on that and get, like I said, some skin in the game. It's more fun with skin in the game. I just want to keep saying skin in the game. I don't know why. Maybe Ray's drowsiness is getting to me. So that pretty much does it for us here on Extra Round. Sorry for the technical issues. We will be back soon. You know what? I want to tell you about this. If you sign up for UFC Fight Pass, you can get something really exciting, which is the UFC Fight Pass Invitational. That goes down here at the end of the month. It is the best grappling in the world. The best single night in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the Fight Pass Invitational. Where is my little thing? I think I'm going to go like this. Is this it? This could be bad, but we're going to try to hit it for you. I think it's this one. It's not that one. Is it this one? Not that one. Is it this one? There it is. Fight Pass Invitational. You got some big stars in there. William Tackett, Adele Fornerino, and Fiona Davies in your main event. It's going to be a very fun time to be had. Again, Thursday, May 29th in Las Vegas at the Apex. Sign up right now at UFC Fight Pass, and if you can't be in the building, you can have it on demand anytime. It's the 11th installment. There's 10 others, all streaming for you right now on UFC Fight Pass. If you have something you want to say and we weren't able to get to it, give us a ring. 917 UFC Talk is the number, 917-832-8255. I would love to hear your thoughts on what's next. I might even call you back. I got an hour drive ahead of me. You give me a call. We can talk MMA. Be fun. I'm a nerd like that. All right, that does it. For Ray Longo, I'm TJ DeSantis saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time for more extra rounds here from UFC Fight Pass.